right, you guys, welcome to the Thursday FFL Limitless Weekly Agency Call. Today, we have 4 top producing agents that are absolutely going to crush and dominate today's call. Sid, let's start with you. Go ahead and introduce yourself. How long have you been with FFL, and what's your best month been so far?
My name is Sydney Witt. So I've been with FFL since September of last year, so coming up on a year. Had no sales experience, came from healthcare, that world. And this has completely transformed my life as far as financially, just me as a person. And then my best month so far is 25,000.
Amazing. How did you find FFL?
So it's really funny. I had heard about the insurance space through a friend, and they were in another company, and I just didn't like the way they were structured. So I Googled insurance companies and just kind of did my own research, came across Caitlin, actually contacted her and was like, hey, can I work with you? And she obviously had me with open arms. But it was, kind of fate, I think.
I love that. Awesome. Jared, what about you? Introduce yourself, how long you've been with FFL, and how you found us.
Yeah, so my name's Jared Christ. I've been with FFL for about a year and a half. Really kind of just turned up the notch the last 8 months or so. When I first started, I was getting married, graduating college, never been in sales or anything like that. I got into sales from a guy you guys might know, Jay Gardner. You guys might know him. I don't know. He doesn't sell that much. But he's one of my best friends now. And he was posting all this stuff on his Instagram. And I was like, there's no way you're doing this well, right? So I texted him. He's like, yeah, got me signed up, and just been the best thing ever since. No turning back now. And my best month is 45 families, I think.
45 families.
Let's go.
Yeah.
All right. Jacob C. And to clarify, I think you were the highest one on the board, not the
No, it's going to be Colin. So I'm gunning for him right now, but
let's go.
Yeah, I appreciate to be on the call, guys. My name's Jacob Center. I think I've had just short of 2 full months in the business. My best month so far is 36 grand. So we're just looking to get things started. We're just getting the ball rolling. Previously come from a sales background in the door-to-door space, doing solar, running sales teams. So it was a really easy transition, and I'm just looking to keep the ball rolling and provide opportunities to others as well. So really excited to be on the call. Thanks for having me, guys.
Got it. So Jacob, your second month, you do a crash course, you learn how to sell insurance, you're still figuring things out, and you buy leads, you call them, you follow the script, and you protect 36 families.
Absolutely. Yeah. So the biggest thing here, it was, Caitlin told me it's $1 million script. So I just started reading off of that. Caitlin was providing me leads at first, but once I started seeing some of the big checks coming my way, I was able to reinvest into my business, and I just watched it grow from there. So yeah, it's just plug and play, follow the blueprint, and make the money. It's an awesome business to be in. So I'm super excited to be here.
Awesome. Great job, bro. Elliot, I like the hat, man. Let's introduce yourself and go through it.
What's up, everybody? My name is Elliot Tomlinson. I appreciate you guys having us on the call here. I kind of came from a door-to-door background and also a corporate background. I was a certified engineer, kind of went to door-to-door, got home from door-to-door, and then Caitlin kind of reached out and said, hey, would you be interested in selling life insurance? And I was like, honestly, right now, I have nothing else to do. Let's sell something. Get in here. Best message I've ever responded to in my life. It's changed everything. Figuring out kind of how this business works and what it can do for the people around you. So not only now has it changed my life, but I'm able to change other people's lives getting into the business, which is the craziest thing. I would have never expected it to be where it's at already. Only 7 months in. We're still trying to figure out some things on the team growing side, but we're getting there. And my biggest month so far, I believe, is 55 families, I think. Yeah.
Huge. And your wife is with us as well, right?
Yeah, she's in there selling. She did just under 20 families this month and never sold anything.
Wow. Family business.
Let's Sydney, let's go back to you. Let's start off with, what are some of your best practices, your best tip for buying leads, and how much, when you buy them, what kinds, etc.?
Yeah, absolutely. So which I'm sure I sound like a broken record. You hear this from everybody, but lead flow is truly cash flow. Anybody that's starting in the business, you have to make that a priority, invest in yourself, invest in leads, and because that's where your profit's going to come from. But as far as what leads I buy, right now I have a ton of the ones that were on discount because who doesn't, 80% off was amazing. But for the most part, I run a lot of Ethos. I really loved those. But then when I first started, I did in-homes and I ran strictly just internet leads. That was like the bread and butter for me. So really any lead works. But right now I do a lot of Ethos, and then I do some live transfers. I kind of do a mix of those. And then Monday morning is normally when I buy my leads for the week. So I'll buy my batch of leads for the week, run them, throughout the week. Sometimes I'll get more, if I've kind of ran through what I have. But as far as leads, I would say Ethos, live transfers, and I spend about $1,000 a week on leads altogether.
Awesome. Sydney, for when you're buying the Ethos leads, you're calling them, and then with the live transfers, are you just running the live transfers while you're dialing and doing one call closes for the Ethos leads, or how do you balance that?
Yep. So I've done both. Sometimes like in the mornings, I'll run through my Ethos, and then the evenings I'll do live transfers, but I have run them simultaneously before. It's really not a bad idea. Anybody that's worried that you're going to get a live transfer while you're on the phone with a client, it can be worked around. So that's happened to me before. And anytime that I've had a client on the phone and I get a live transfer, pretty much what I'll say to them is, hey, Mary, so sorry, my boss just walked in the door. Can I give you a call back in about 10, 15 minutes? They're always like, yep, absolutely no problem. I'll hang up, get the live transfer, hopefully sell that one, and then call them right back. So, you can kind of juggle both, but, I've done splitting them, do like mornings and afternoons, and then I've done running them simultaneously. So both will work.
Smart. I think I agree with you, Sydney. I think that in terms of like internet leads, I think that those Ethos abandoned cart leads are the highest intent. And the reason why I say that is because like they literally were on the site, they know about life insurance, they were probably filling it out. They could have been to their bank account and had their account number minus the last number and decided I'm tapping out. And so a lot of people are interested in those. Can you share just a quick opening for those leads?
Yeah, absolutely. So I do dial them a little bit different, like the intro than internet leads. So when I get them on the phone, I bring up Ethos. I'll say, it looks like you had started an Ethos application a few weeks ago or a week or so ago. Do you remember starting that? 9 times out of 10, they'll say yes. And then I'll say, okay, perfect. We just saw on our end that it wasn't fully completed. Was that due to price, product, or did you just run out of time? Honestly, majority of the time, they just ran out of time or they were confused. And so once they say that, I'll say, okay, perfect. Well, I am a broker through the state. So I work with Ethos, but I also work with about 29 other companies. So I'm able to shop around for you, figure out a company that's going to approve you, and also one that's going to give you the best rate. Sometimes that is Ethos, other times it is another company. So go ahead and grab a pen and paper and we'll go over those.
Awesome.
Smooth.
And last thing, because I think it's really important, is if you haven't ever filled out an application yourself or almost filled out an application, I would go on Ethos and do it. And the reason why is because I was actually looking for myself, Sydney, like a month and a half ago before I turned 28. I was just trying to lock in at 27. And I looked at it. I didn't fill out the application 100% because I was looking around, wanted to see like what rating they would give me. And I think the sequence was I got an email the next day, basically from Ethos reminding me. I then got a text, I believe, and another email. So also for those guys, like the company's already following up and it's a hot lead. They're getting in front of them. All you got to do is call them and sell them. So.
Right. And a lot of people are super appreciative, especially kind of the older generation, because it can be confusing, filling something out online. They don't know really much knowledge about life insurance. So a lot of times they're really thankful that you're able to call them and kind of explain the product to them because they really don't know what they're getting. So yeah, they're my favorite leads right now.
Love that.
Awesome. Great job.
Great job. Jared, what about you? Talk about lead flow, how much you're spending in leads, and how your lead flow has changed from when you first started until now.
Yeah. So what's changed for me mostly from when you start is it's probably the same for everyone. You come into this business most of the time not with a lot of money. I was delivering pizzas in college. I didn't have a lot of money. So I was probably investing, I was that $500 a week guy, right? I was able to always turn a profit on those leads. And then now I'm spending about 3,000, I would say, a week about. I have a few different vendors that I do get leads from, but mostly it's going to be Ethos. When I have free time in between my 10 appointments a day, I'm hand dialing Ethos, or I am buying mortgage. And then obviously those 60-cent leads were pretty fire. I probably bought like 1,000 of them, gave them to my agents. I dialed them. They're great. As far as my procedure is, I'm 8 to 8 every single day. So it's nonstop with agents, me dialing, selling, everything. I don't run live transfers, honestly, just because like if I have an hour in between my appointments, I would much rather just hand dial leads myself than get live transfers. Live transfers haven't been great for me. They work really well for other people.
Yeah.
With me, I just my stuff a little bit different. But yeah, it's pretty much all hands on deck all day.
I
Got it.
love that.
Let's dive into that 8 to 8 schedule, Jared. And so
Okay.
talk about in terms of, calling them, how many times you're calling them, when maybe you're sending a text, when is it time to leave a voicemail, email, whatever. What's the process?
Yeah. So I'm like 90% mortgage. But what I do is about 80-90% mortgage with Ethos and some life leads. But mortgage, I understand that these people have a mortgage, they have a real job, right? They're actually at work. I'm not going to call them 20 times a day. I'm going to call them twice in the morning, all my leads, double dial them. Okay. In the afternoon, I'll text them or call them 2 more times. And then after 5 p.m. their time zone, which I'll run all time zones from Pacific to Central to Eastern. I'll wake up at 6 and dial Eastern. If I want to stay up till later, I'll dial Hawaii, whatever. Right. So, and then in the evening, so that's 6 a day, right? After the last day, I will leave them a voicemail. Then the next day I'll do the same thing and then send them a text. And then at that point, I'll probably leave it alone because my schedule is so busy. I'm not going to hammer a lead 30 times. I don't have time for that. So at that point, I would put leads that never answered, give them to an agent, and they're more than happy to sell them. And most of the time, they will get a hold of them a week later. Even if a lead's a month old, you can sell a month-old lead just like you just bought it. You know what I mean? So that's my schedule as far as from 8. I usually would have anywhere from 8 to 10 appointments a day, hopefully. And then in between those, I'm either helping agents, like I said, dialing myself, call to close, booking more appointments for myself on top of appointments. The more appointments you have, the better, right? Not everyone shows up no matter how good you book an appointment.
Yeah.
So
awesome. Are you buying leads like every day or twice a week or once a week, or what does that look like?
yeah, so my influx of leads is definitely every single day. I would love to have, so like I will do 20 leads a day. Okay, so whether I'm getting off the CRM somewhere else, I'm getting 20 fresh leads a day. Regardless of what type of lead it is, I want fresh leads every single day. I don't want to buy like 300 on the beginning of like Monday, and then I'm hammering the same leads every single day for the next 3 days, right? I would much rather have 20 fresh leads to dial on top of my old leads, and then 20 the next day, 20 the next day, 20 that like keep on going. Not everyone's going to answer. You just fall back on those leads from the past week and then just keep it going that way, at least because that way you keep your morale up, your confidence is up. If you dial the same leads over and over and over, your confidence does go down a little bit, right? Because you're just dialing the same leads over and over and over. So fresh leads for sure.
So that's like a huge mind trick, guys. Instead of if you're buying all your leads on Monday and you're not doing as much as you think you are capable of, then maybe instead of buying all your leads on Monday, you do what Jared does. And a lot of people do, and you buy them, you buy 1/5 of the leads you would buy, but you buy them every single day, Monday through Friday. Maybe instead of buying once a week, now you do Monday and Thursday. But automating that lead flow is important. And that's 100% right, Jared. Like if you buy a ton of leads Monday, dude, it's just psychology. By Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, what do you think to yourself? Oh, these are old leads, I already dialed them. Versus if you're buying not as many, but they're fresh, then it's like, okay, I just bought them yesterday. They're still pretty fresh. Great job.
Exactly. And when you're spending more per lead, you're not dialing like Ethos leads, right? They're pretty expensive. Let's just be honest, but because they're higher intent. If you're buying 20 of those a day, I'm going to get a hold of 15 of them. You know what I mean? Versus buying $24 leads, I might only get a hold of 5.
Yeah.
So when you're buying 20 a day, that's how you boost your numbers up right there, because you're getting a hold of more people.
Love it. From 500 to 3,000 a week, and production is now over 40, 50 families a month. That's a hack, guys.
Yeah.
Write that down. That's the biggest hack you guys are gonna hear. All right, great job. Let's go, Jacob. If you want to,
Hey, what's going on?
yeah, if you want to go through, you've been here for 2 months. You've been here for forever. You
Yeah.
know everything, I'm sure. Let's go for you, for the newer agents that are on here. They're gonna watch it here in the next days, months, years, whatever. Let's go through
Absolutely.
how the heck did you go from 2 months ago to almost 40 families in terms of like, what was your training schedule like? Just give us the whole rundown.
Mhm. Yeah, so when I initially first started, kind of the same as every other new agent that comes in, doesn't necessarily know what to do. I learned a lot from being on Zoom. I feel like that's a crucial part of this business, is plugging in and getting in on Zoom. So when you're studying, if you still haven't gotten your license yet, I was on Zoom just listening to presentations all day. I'll give a big kudos to Mr. Elliott, because I learned a lot from him just learning what to do. So while I'm studying, I heard a couple different presentations, and I'm like, wow, this is really all they're doing. This really isn't all that hard at all. Biggest thing for a new agent, kind of what I did was I just started dialing, put the hours in, dial. A lot of no answers, a lot of people hanging up on you, but I just kept pushing through. Perseverance is huge. And eventually, what I kind of learned is like, okay, when you're dialing, and I like the one call close. It's one of my favorites, but really, I just get them to get a pen and piece of paper. You know what I mean? Introduce yourself, who you are, why you're calling, what you need. And once you can get them to kind of get that pen and paper, I feel like that's going to be the biggest thing, because then, boom, you're into a presentation. And for all the new guys that are out there, I feel like that's going to be the hardest part, is just getting the intro down. Because once the intro is down, then it's easy to go through a presentation, because all you're doing is asking medical questions, right? So if there's any advice I can give to some of these newer agents, is really hone in on your intro, right? Get them to get a pen, piece of paper. And once you're there, essentially all you're doing is having them hold your hand throughout the whole presentation. If they have any objections from there, you're like, well, I mean, we're already halfway there. My job's just to see if you qualify anyways. Hey, no decisions or commitments can be made today. And that's simply just because, because of the fact that you can't necessarily choose to buy the insurance before you don't get qualified for it. So my job's just to push an application through. You get a packet in the mail and go over it with your spouse or whatever. You know what I mean? So, but as far as for some of these new guys, just plugging in. A lot of these new guys, they kind of just have their foot in. Like, if this business was a pool, they're just dipping their little toes in, just trying to see if it's cold or not. Take the dive straight in. And it might be a little cold, but you're going to get used to it. And pretty soon you'll be swimming laps around everybody else.
I love that. So you said you came from solar. So you were door to door.
Absolutely.
So
Yeah.
I talked to someone the other day, and they come from solar, and they're like going crazy because they're sitting in front of a computer and dialing all day. And they're just like, I'm not used to this. How did you get over that?
Yeah. Cup half full situation, right? It's either cup half full or cup half empty. I could be outside in 110-degree heat, but I get to sell them the AC all day. You know what I mean? So it's hot out there, guys. That's a big thing for all my solar guys. I get to sell them the AC. And I'm able to kind of work around my own schedule, take my own lunch. I don't have to, I get to beat the heat. I think that's a really big thing. And the comfort of working from home is nice. It was a small adjustment that I did have to make, because I've always been go, and I'm kind of the same way now. I just learned to adapt, right? Adapt with your current situation. And I was able to do that, even on my downtime. If I'm like, taking a 10, 15, 20-minute break from calling, just hopping on Zoom and just, getting feedback from everybody else that's around me. I think that's a big thing, because you really got to buy into the culture here. It's very similar to any sort of door-to-door space. I'd say the only real big difference is instead of knocking doors, you're dialing, right? So it was a really easy transition for me, I'd say. And I just decided when it was that time came that, all right, this was my past. Yeah, 5 years of door-to-door experience, but now let's just segue into a bigger and better opportunity, right? So I feel like that's just the outlook that you need to have on this business, is whether you're coming from delivering pizzas or stocking shelves or, delivering DoorDash, whatever, right? You can do this, because literally anybody can do it. you're provided with all of the necessary materials to succeed. And I know 100% for diligence, it's one big team, one fight, and everybody wants to see you win. So if you are struggling, there's people there to help you. And I think a big part of that is like we like to encourage all of the new individuals, seasoned vets, whoever, to unmute when they're doing a presentation when you're on Zoom. Because even if you biff it and you don't get it, right, that's fine. Because hey, that was really great. You did an awesome job there, but I see what you could have done a little bit differently, right? Or if you get it, there's a lot of different things that other people are going to be able to take from that, right? And yeah, so it's just I love it here, man. I'm super excited to see what goes on next, right?
You're a stud, dude. My money's on you to definitely. I know you're going to be on the cruise.
I'll see you there. 100%.
Let's go. I'm excited to hang. Guys, there's two new agents that come into this business. There's an agent like Jacob that becomes obsessed with everything. He just talked and just went through script and all this stuff, and he's been here for like 2 minutes. There's that kind of agent. No wonder why he's doing so well. Then there's the other agent that won't get on Zoom, and they're just, like he said, 1 foot in, seeing if it's cold. Is this going to work? Be like Jacob. If you dedicate yourself to your script and everything, this thing you catch on quick. But if you don't dedicate this, it might take you a year to actually figure out what you're doing because you're not putting in the work. So great job, man. Elliot, bring us home. Let's just go. We're not going to go leads. We're not going to go script. Give us you've been here you said for almost
7 months.
7 months?
7 months, yeah.
Okay. What are some of the biggest tips, the biggest things you've learned since you started?
Some of the main things, and Jake kind of hit on this, is number one for agents. I've got a couple things when I bring people in now, is like what helped me the most was being on Zoom. Number one, like that is so important. It's fathomable because you're number one, you're being held accountable for what you're doing. So I can see when your mouth's moving, like I can tell you're working. That helps on that side of things because you're trying to learn a whole new run your own business. You're trying to learn, okay, now I got to hold myself accountable to working more. There's no one over your head or managing you. And that's a big thing for a lot of people to learn. And that's kind of one of the main things for me as well, is after I've got that down, kind of learning the process as to what I need to learn, right? So for me, that's like, I call it my A to B path for all of my agents as well, is knowing the steps to get through the sale is the first step. We talk about objections a lot, but if you can't go through the laydown and sell the laydown, then you can't get better, right? So if they say, I don't remember filling this out, and it completely throws you off, but if they would have said yes and you can get all the way through it, I can work with that, right? I can teach you that objection. And that was a big thing for me, is trying to figure out that process. And just all the people on diligence were crazy helpful in the very beginning, like unmuted all the time. Just like I'd ask questions, they know the answer to it. If they didn't know the answer, they were calling one other top producer to get the answer. And that was amazing for me. And now I hope I'm holding up to that same value as to I'm in the position I was asking people, right? So that was huge for me at the end of the day, is just having that access to Zoom really and truly is the biggest game changer for our agency alone.
Love it. So you said this is your first time being self-employed or all commission, correct?
Yeah, so from door to door to this, door to door was actually my first all commission. But this is more or less running your own business, as to like you're investing, you got a lot of money flowing in and a lot of money flowing out, trying to get to that next stage. And that was a big learning curve for me, that you've got to invest in this business. The more you put in, the more this thing spits out at you.
Let's dive into that, Elliot. So I think cash management and investing, a lot of people when they come here, they've never been a business owner. They've never invested in leads. I know I didn't. And so it's sometimes the rough transition of like, you get paid and you want to hold on to it. It's like Sean calls it, like, it's like the squirrel and like just hoarding the acorns. You never want to give them up once you have them, and you have to get more. Can you talk about, let's say you're a new agent, you spend $500 this week. You go and you protect 5 families, 100% comp. You can do the math. That's a great ROI. that next week, what is it looking like for you in terms of lead spend? Are you keeping some money because there's going to be chargebacks? Can you talk about that?
Yeah, so for me, in the way my business is currently operating, is kind of we have like the ups and downs of the cash flow, and putting away and preparing to invest. So me personally, right now, if I have producing at a high level, you're going to have the highs of the chargebacks hit you, and then you got to be prepared to invest the 3,000 to 5,000 every week that this business requires to keep pushing forward, right? Even if it's not leads, when you're trying to build a team, you're investing in employees, things like that. So things just keep growing as this business does. And the main thing I tell all my new people, like, how much should I invest? I'm like, everything you're not scared to. Because if you feel comfortable, once we've got those sales rolling, it is a little scary in the beginning, and that's what we're here for now. Caitlin's been a tremendous help in making sure these new guys can get their ball rolling, because when you're in that position, you can help people. And now we can kind of push these people to take bigger risk and get bigger rewards without them putting their capital completely on the line. They still got to front, a lot, but that's a big thing for me and my agents. Is like, look, dude, everything you're not scared to invest, do a little more than make yourself a little scared, because that pressure is going to create sales. I promise you it does every time. If you've got a month of chargebacks hitting you really hard, guess what? We all sell 10 times harder whenever we've got chargebacks. We got something coming in the mail that's a bill, a rent's due, whatever it is, you're going to sell way harder. You're going to work without looking at the clock, I promise you. So putting that pressure on yourself is massive, and taking a gamble on yourself. That's what I tell a lot of my agents. They're coming to me like, man, it's not going. I'm like, dude, you got to gamble on yourself here and bet that you're going to win, right? We're here to protect you from, being a big loss, right? But you've got to be willing to believe in yourself to push forward to that next level. That's a big thing for us too.
I love that. Guys, one secret and one thing that makes this business so good is we get advanced. We have advanced commissions. If we were in different insurance, we we're getting paid every single month, it wouldn't be that good because you don't get advanced commissions. However, the advanced commissions come with the responsibility of consistency. They come with the responsibility of investing in leads the next week. They come with the responsibility of making sure that, we know that 20 to 30% is going to fall off. You have to be consistent. I love what you said there, Elliot. Let's end it off here with, you're building a team, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Besides Zoom, because I know that's your number one hack for people, which is 100% correct, getting in and plugging in. What would you say is your number one tip for an agent that comes on your team to get them going fast?
So number one for me is what I'm training them, right? I am slowly but surely dialing in what I'm training these people coming in based on what I learned and what I need to know, right? So the number one thing all my agents will tell you they've heard 100 times is the A to B path, right? That is from hello all the way to, hey, your packet's headed out in the mail, right? What does each step of that look like? Where do they need to go? Because if they don't understand that outline, you can't add the word tracks to it, right? So for me, teaching full telesales, word tracks are important, but if you don't know the process, then it's kind of tough. And just for everybody out there, the A to B, I have it pulled up here. It's going to go your intro, so introducing while we're on the phone and who I am, right? To grabbing a pen and paper. After the pen and paper, we're going to dive into the financial inventory. After the financial inventory, I'm going to give you 3 options. Okay. After the 3 options, I'm going to go into the app. Yep. After the app, you've got social and banking, and then you got a policy coming out to them in the mail. That is the simplest form to put this. Now, training them each step along that way is very important as to them understanding what they're carrying that person through and how they're feeling on the other side of the phone is so important. Especially people that I'm training have never been in sales. That's a tough thing for them to learn, is like the psychology of it. But if I can break it down into like, here's a step-by-step, if you're doing this, this is what outcome's gonna be, right? And then we just sprinkle in objections, we sprinkle in like your word tracks, and then you've got yourself a producer within a few months that's producing at a high level. They invest more, they make more.
I love it. You guys crush this. Sydney, let's end it. We'll go round robin. What is your goal to finish the year at? Families protected, and let's give a 2024 goal because we're only a few months from the new year. So let's hear that one as well.
Yeah, no, I love that. So I'll do personal and team because I am building a team. So personal wise, I want to hit about 250 families for the year, 250 families on the year. And then team wise, I want to have logo by the end of this year. I want to go to conference with logo, want to go to conference with my team. And then 2024, by the end of the year as a team, I want to be doing 300K. So that's kind of my goals there. We're well on our way. We've got a recruiting operation, going full steam ahead. So we are, on our way there, but yeah, that is my goals.
Love
Awesome.
that.
Jared.
All right. So for sure, Hall of Fame, no doubt. I'm a little over halfway now. Definitely logo by October. I think me and my team, we can do it this month, next month, hit that 100K. And then by the end of, by 2024, hopefully somewhere around, not the end of the year, but earlier in the year would be nice to have a $500,000 a month team doing $500,000. So I have agents coming in, just got to get them rolling. Like Elliot said, you got to implement the steps to get them rolling as soon as possible, give them all the tools necessary to build a team. You got to sacrifice to build a team. You know what I mean? That just comes with the job.
Yeah.
Huge.
Jacob.
He's so
All
excited.
right. Yeah, I'm super stoked to be here, guys. So thank you again. Some of my goals by the end of the year, I want to be at logo. I want to have my guys pushing well over $100,000 a month. Right now, we're just getting some of the new guys rolling. I got a couple guys that are really crushing it as well. So shout out to those guys. Shout out to all my new guys as well. Want to get to logo, right? Want to have that up there at the conference. Want to be one of the big dogs. And my biggest goal is I really want to make sure that all of my guys are earning well over $200,000 in a year, 2, 3, 4, on the road to $1 million a year at least. That's the goal right now. Just getting into the business.
I
Let's
love
go.
that.
Elliot, bring us home.
Man, I don't even know what to talk about 2024. This just the 7 months, 8 months I've been here, this has been nuts. Leaving convention and then coming out here and hitting this in the field, it's changed so much since then. End of the year, 500 families should be no problem. Personal, as a team, I want to hit that 500 a month as a team before the end of the year. It's a huge goal of mine. We're on our way, on pace to get there very quickly. We should be reserving logo this month. So, and hitting logo by next month is what we're hoping. So we're on our way. It's growing at a pace I cannot control. 2024. Oh my gosh. I have no idea. Like, I don't even know where to put it. I'm operating in 1 month spans at this point. It's growing so fast. It's been so crazy. Diligence has been nuts. These people we hang out with all day are nuts. They're awesome. But really and truly at the end of the day, it's all about diving into this culture, becoming a part of the team, understanding who you're hanging out with. Love to fly out and hang out with these guys all the time. Everybody knows from my accent, I'm probably not from the same town as the Cali boys are over here, but it's amazing. The culture's amazing. Team goals are just getting pushed out the window. Like, me hitting Hall of Fame was kind of like a question. Now it's like a requirement from Caitlin. She's like, "Are you not going to hit Hall of Fame? What are you doing over there? Like, push harder, sell more." I'm like, "Okay, sorry, whatever." But that's kind of our goal for this year. We're going to keep it simple. If we can hit 500K by the end of the year, that'd be awesome. 250 should be no problem, but 500K is where I want to be as a team before this year's over with.
I love that. Well, you guys are killers. You guys definitely brought the energy, and it's no surprise. I mean, you guys saw Caitlin on there. She's the first one to hit the cruise, and you guys are definitely following. So thank you guys for getting on. This will be up on YouTube. You guys can share all over social media, and let's freaking grow this thing.
Great job, guys.